The number one item on my list of beginner tips is planning. There's an old military adage that goes something like this: proper prior planning prevents painfully poor performance. This adage fits everything that you will do in life, including your work in Photoshop. There's another old adage that I always think of when I think about planning, and that is this: if you're going on a trip, you get in your car, you're all packed, you've got some time off, you're ready to go, but you don't know where your destination is, how are you ever going to get there? Let's say you want to go to Kansas. Alright, you've got a vague idea that it's in the middle of the United States, and it's a pretty big state, so if you're on the West Coast and you drive east, or the East Coast and you drive west, you're fairly certain you got a pretty good shot at hitting it. The problem with that is you may not hit it. When you're talking about doing something in the creative world, whether it's a deadline or the idea, if you can't provide quality work on time, they're going to take away your car while you're driving to Kansas. You will be unemployed. Because if you can't do any of these things efficiently, quickly, there's no reason for someone to hire you when they can just hire someone who can, who does know the direction to Kansas. So, make sure you pull out the map, you figure out where Kansas is. How does this relate to the creative business? Let's say you were asked to draw a giant mechanical dragon. The first thing you need to do is, I'm going to pull up a browser here, look up dragons. Check out a whole bunch of pictures of different dragons. Now, obviously, you're also going to want to talk to whoever it is that you're doing the work for. Maybe they have a dragon preference. Do they like Eastern dragons? Do they like Western dragons? Do they want winged dragons? Do they want ones with a big beefy arm growing out of the side of their neck? What kind of dragons are they into? So once you've done some research on dragons, what I would do here is I would actually save a bunch of these images in a folder somewhere so I can look back at them while I'm drawing. Maybe I'll take one aspect from one dragon, combine it with another aspect from another dragon, combine it with something totally different that I just came up with on the fly. The next thing you're going to want to do is look up mechanical things. If I had to draw a mechanical dragon, what I would look up is construction equipment. Dragons are huge. So is construction equipment. So here we have a mini excavator. Well, if we look at this closely, this could easily be an arm or a leg or part of a wing. We could put a joint here. We could use these crazy hydraulics that are going on, put some wires everywhere. Use this as an example of a joint. We could use this. Here's a foot right here. A little bit of tweaking, put some toes down this way, you've got a foot. So research your subject, but it's not limited to what you're going to be drawing. Research your client. You want to know what this person likes. Did they like nice flowery dragons or fire-breathing dragons? What is their favorite color? You can incorporate that in. Does their company have colors? Are they doing this for a certain project where certain logos or certain styles need to be met? You need to know all these things when you're working on this project so that you know what goals are there to meet. Before we get into my second point, which is assets, if any of you has to draw a dragon, or if any of you has to draw even a butterfly, check this thing out, because this is the most insane piece of equipment I've ever seen in my life. This is a giant saw thing. I don't even know what this is, but I encourage all of you to incorporate it into your work. Doesn't matter what you're drawing. Anyway, assets. Let's say you're not drawing something. Let's say you're doing some sort of design. Put all of your assets in one spot. If you're doing a logo design, any kind of shapes that you need to incorporate, any kind of ideas that you need to incorporate, this is one of the greatest tools. On Macintosh, it's called TextEdit. On Windows, you've got Notepad. Use it. Themes. Big angry dragon. Very mechanical. And when we're talking about mechanical, maybe it's unfeeling because it's a machine. Start writing down things that revolve around the item that you're going for. If we're not drawing a big angry dragon, let's say we're developing a logo for a corporation, so let's say they're a bank, and now they want to get across that they're secure, because they want people to trust them with their money. This is their financial well-being. You want them to give this to the bank, so what kind of things are secure? Maybe a lock. Maybe, probably not chains. I don't think you'd want to incorporate chains into this, but, you know, if you chain something up, I can't even spell, but if you chain something up, then, you know, that's pretty secure. Fortresses are secure. Alright, so listen, I'm not the best typist. I just want everyone to know that my keyboard is sitting directly in front of my microphone. It's really tough to see what I'm typing, and it's really late at night. Financial system, things that are incorporated with money. So maybe we'll use the color green because that's associated with money, but at the same time, if we're thinking psychologically, blues are very soothing, whereas something like red we wouldn't want to incorporate because if you're putting red tends to make people nervous, so we don't want red in our composition. But this is what I'm talking about. Organize your thoughts. These are assets because then, okay, now look at this. Lock. Come back over here to Yahoo or Google. Lock. Type it in, look down here. We've got all sorts of locks. Here we go. We got a combination lock. We got a bunch of people with tattoos. We got a fingerprint lock. And we can get our assets this way. So assets is number 2. Number 3 is time management. When you're sitting down to work on a new project, always make sure that you allot your time carefully. You don't want to be distracted, so set down a specific amount of time to do nothing but work. Turn your cell phone on vibrate, set it aside, turn it off. For this next 3 hours, you're going to do nothing but sit down here and focus on what it is that you're doing. Give yourself a break in between, because 1, this will prevent burnout. 2, if you want, you can work right through the break. Man, if you're in the zone, sometimes you may work for 8, 9, 10 hours and not even bat an eye. Not get up to go to the bathroom, not eating anything. You've got some water next to you so you stay hydrated, but that's all you need. Glass of water and your passion to keep you alive. In that same vein as time management, I would suggest that you allow yourself 10 to 15 minutes before you start working on a project for warm-up. The reason this is because when you sit down to a project cold, if you're coming back to a project that you've already been working on, or if it's a brand new project, it takes a little time to get into the zone. So I have an entire folder of projects that I've worked on that literally are there just to do in my spare time and for no other reason. Here's an example of such a project that I'm working on. Zoom in here for you so you can see it. This is actually a tattoo that I designed. I didn't color it in because I knew the tattoo artist that would be working on it. So in my spare time, I've just kind of come in here and played around with it a little bit and, you know, just started to add some color. This is strictly a warm-up project. The work is finished. I've already been compensated. So now I come in here and I play around with the color a little bit. I see what I can come up with. And, you know, I play with it for 10 minutes. If I get into a groove with it that I like, then I'll play with it for a little longer. But its sole reason for existing at this point is so that I have something to work on in order to warm up. All right, the last thing, once you've got your time set aside, you know that you're going to be working for 4 hours, then lunch, then 4 more. You know, and let's say it's Monday, the 30th, whatever. Whenever you have set aside the time, what do you want to accomplish during that time? You can do this in one of 2 ways. Here are your goals. I'll give you a real-world example from right here at work. Sunday of this week, I'm going to come back to the office for a couple of reasons. 1, I need to go over a couple of course curriculums that I'm working on with some other people here in the office and check them out, make sure everything's cool, give them some notes, and help them finish these, because in a couple of days, Mahalo's going to be rolling out some really cool new pages that will let us show you our courses in a brand new format that fits the role of teaching you a lot better. So I have to look those over. 2, I have to upload this video. Then I have to do some annotations. I have to update the main course page with the videos that I just uploaded. And I have to add some other images to Mahalo pages that I'm working on. All right, so in this case, the way I have my Sunday planned out is very laid back. I just have a number of things that I want to accomplish that day. And as I go over each thing, I'll either cross it off or I'll delete it. Actually, usually I don't delete it. In case I need to come back to it, I will come up here and I will go strike through. So I just put a line through it. This is one way to do it. The other way is the outline method, which here we'll accomplish with a list. Item 1, and then in item 1 you have 2 things. Item 2, Anyway, you get the idea. None of these should really be new concepts to you, but I can't stress enough the importance of each one of these items on this list. You'll find that if you do your research ahead of time, you collect all of your assets so they're easily manageable, if you structure your time, and after that, you plan the time that you have structured, spend a few minutes warming up. One, you're going to be in the zone more often because your brain is never going to be cluttered with where is this item that I need for this? What folder did I save it in? What does a dragon look like? Do I have enough time before lunch to complete this thing? Your mind is never going to be cluttered with these items, and it can be full of nothing but creativity. Throw that creativity on the page, or in this case, in the file in Photoshop. You know your goals. You've researched the subject. Go through it. Plan. That's about all for now. The next video in this series, we're going to talk a little bit about organization. So until then, please comment, rate, and subscribe below, and send any questions that you might have. Anything at all. I'll answer questions about life, whatever you want. Send it to mahalo.com. We have some great experts here who can help you out with pretty much any subject. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.